This is the history of Israel. In the 3rd and 2nd millennia BC, the original Bronze Age inhabitants of the Levant, including the Phoenicians, Jebusites, and Amorites, became collectively known as Canaanites. From these shared roots, distinct nations gradually evolved: the Moabites, the Ammonites, and the Israelites. Toward the end of the 2nd millennium BC, Israelite tribes pushed into the hills. Their target was a formidable Canaanite stronghold. They captured the city fortress of Jebus, a strategic crown ruling over the broader region of Jerusalem. Unity was short-lived. In the 10th century BC, a bitter political fracture tore the nation apart. The 10 northern tribes broke away, creating two rival brother kingdoms: Israel, Samaria in the north, and Judea in the south. In 722 BC, the aggressive Assyrian Empire marched from the east and completely crushed the northern kingdom of Israel. The Assyrians forcibly scattered the 10 northern tribes across their vast empire. Erased by forced assimilation, they became the 10 lost tribes. Over a century later, in 586 BC, the southern kingdom of Judah met its own doom. The Babylonians burned Jerusalem and dragged the Judeans into captivity. But Babylon allowed the exiles to live in tight-knit communities. The Judean identity survived. 50 years later, the Persian Empire conquered Babylon. The Persian king, Cyrus the Great, practiced remarkable religious tolerance. Freed by the Persians, the Judeans returned to their homeland and rebuilt the Second Temple. Despite its name, Judah was never a purely Jewish kingdom. The original Jebusites and other Canaanite remnants continued to live alongside the Judeans, creating a multi-ethnic society. 4 centuries after the temple was rebuilt, a new superpower cast its shadow over the Levant. In 63 BC, Roman legions marched into Jerusalem. Independent Jewish kingship was over, and the era of Roman Judea began. Following the failed Jewish revolts, Rome brutally destroyed Jerusalem and burned the Second Temple to the ground in 70 AD. To erase the land's Jewish identity, Rome renamed the region Syria Palestina, scattering the surviving population into a global exile that would last nearly 2 millennia. For the next 18 centuries, the physical land became a neglected provincial prize, continually traded between massive competing empires. From the Byzantines and early Islamic caliphates to the Crusaders, Mamluks, and Ottomans, a succession of imperial rulers shaped a highly diverse, multi-ethnic local population. In the late 19th century, rampant European anti-Semitism fueled the rise of the Zionist movement, advocating for a return to the Jewish ancestral homeland. Following the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, Great Britain assumed control of the region and issued the 1917 Balfour Declaration, formally backing a Jewish national home. In typical colonial fashion, Britain failed to include the Palestinians in this decision. As Jewish immigration rapidly accelerated under the British mandate, intensified by the rise of Nazi Germany, the indigenous population understandably resisted their growing displacement. Jewish terrorist gangs like Irgun, Haganah, and the Stern Gang launched brutal attacks against Palestinians, as well as high-profile assassinations and sabotage against the British. Trapped in a violent crossfire of riots, revolts, and underground insurgencies, the British administration decided the territory was completely ungovernable and abandoned the Palestinian people to their fate. Shocked by the savagery of the Jewish terrorist attack on their administration headquarters, which left over 90 dead, Britain withdrew in 1948, prompting the UN partition plan and Israeli statehood, all without consulting the Palestinian people. In a desperate attempt to protect the Palestinians, a few neighboring Arab nations, just newly created themselves, invaded Israel, but were quickly beaten back by Israeli forces. They had the financial backing of the mighty Rothschild banking dynasty and the military support of the United States, whose politicians could not stand up to the powerful American Jewish lobby. Upon securing an easy military victory, Israel proceeded to massacre and displace hundreds of thousands of Palestinians and create a permanent political crisis. Today, the region remains paralyzed by a profound sociological impasse between two intensely competing global worldviews. On one hand is a vision of peaceful coexistence, mutual respect and cooperation between all nations, the recognition of universal human rights, and perhaps one day global integration. On the other, cites an aggressive supremacist ethno-nationalism that views absolute regional dominance as their only acceptable outcome, a necessary step towards their ultimate goal of world domination, and one they are determined to achieve no matter the cost. The 21st century, the ultimate impasse, universal coexistence versus absolute dominance. What kind of world do you want to live in? Can humanity outgrow its warring fiefdoms, or is perpetual conflict the only way some know how to survive? The philosophical impasse at the end of the timeline. The modern history of the region ultimately culminates in a profound clash of ideological futures. On one side stands a rigid, ethnocentric nationalism, championed by ideological factions within the region, that views absolute territorial dominance and an ethno-homogeneous state as the only guarantee of cultural and physical survival. On the other side stands the vision of a world peace citizen model, which advocates for a gradual shift toward a borderless, human-centric planet where universal human rights supersede ancient ethnic or religious boundaries. This fundamental division over how humanity should organize itself remains one of the most polarizing and unresolved dilemmas of our time, leaving the land in a state of perpetual ideological and physical friction. Can you imagine a world where Israeli and Palestinian children play freely together? We can. Download this article, which outlines the only viable solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and be informed.